Bonjour French 1. Today's lesson is all about places, which we already know a few. Don't forget about le cinéma and la piscine from earlier in the year, but now we're going to expand upon that list and add a few more. Starting with, by the way, notice that these are all organized as either being masculine and then down here at the bottom is feminine. All of our masculine places, including le club, which is not the club, but like a sports club, kind of like a YMCA, a place where you would play club sports, so be careful with that. Le cybercafé, which is something that was a big idea a while ago. A cyber cafe would just be a place that's a restaurant that you can also get on the internet, but nowadays you can pretty much do that at McDonald's, so it's not a very big deal nowadays, but it's definitely a place where you can both eat and get online. Used to be a lot bigger deal than it is now before Wi-Fi was readily available everywhere. Another place is le lac, which is a lake where you can do various water sports and activities. Le musée, which is a museum, whether it's an art museum or a science museum or anything at all. Museum is musée. L'opéra, which is an opera house, but not in the sense that you always have to hear fat ladies singing, but in the sense of a concert hall. I would consider the Fox Theater to be an opera house. It's a place where you can see a concert. There is actually the Peabody Opera House nowadays in town. It's got the word opera in it, but again, you can see rock concerts and other things there as well. Le théâtre is a theater where you see plays, not a movie theater. You know, the cinéma is where you see movies. Théâtre is where you see plays. Le zoo is the zoo. La campagne is the country, as in different than the city. So if you go out in the country and you do different activities out in the outdoors, like camping and things like that, you do that à la campagne. La mer is the sea, as in the ocean, as in a place where you can do water sports. La montagne is a mountain, again, a place where you can do skiing and various snow activities. La patinoire is where you can patin à glace, which is ice skate, of course. This is a skating rink for ice skating. That's why it's got patin in it. You could also, of course, play hockey in this kind of place, but it is not a roller skating rink. It is an ice skating rink. And then la plage is the beach. Now, along with these places, I wanted to recap a couple things from earlier in the year. More recently was the verb aller. Go ahead and jot it down again, because the more times you write it, the more likely it is to stick in your brain. Aller is an irregular verb. It means to go. The reason why I'm bringing that up with places is because you'll probably use this verb to talk about going to these places, like going to the zoo and going to the ice skating rink and things like that. So don't forget, aller is your verb for to go. It is an irregular verb, but it is a boot verb, meaning that all of those forms inside the boot follow the same pattern, in that here they all start with the letter V, whereas the two that are left out in the cold, nous and vous, both start with the same forms of ALL. Hopefully it's just a way of helping you memorize it. Again, the way you say I am going to these places or I go to these places is je vais. The way you say you go or you are going is tu vas. The way you say he goes or he is going is il or elle va. If you want to say we are going or we go, nous allons. If you want to say y'all go or y'all are going, vous allez. And if you want to say they go or they are going, ils or elles vont. Again, you've had this on your notes before, but I figure it's nice to have everything in one place, and practice makes perfect. The more times you write it, the more likely that it will stick in your brain. Now, something we haven't talked about recently is the preposition à, which means to or at. We talked about this way back in the fall, back in chapter 2. The reason why I bring it up is because whenever you talk about going to the pool or to the theater or to the zoo, you're going to use the word à because it means to, and then you're going to follow it with the word the. And you know from here that the word the can either be le, la, le, or L apostrophe based on whether you're going to the masculine place or the feminine place or the place that starts with a vowel or the place that happens to be plural. So as you're looking back at those notes and you're seeing the le's and the la's in front of it, remember that when you combine that with an ah, sometimes there is a contraction that happens. So if you want to talk about going to a masculine place, such as to the zoo, you can't say in French that you go à le zoo. I know it translates word for word to the zoo, but remember à and le is not a legal combination in the French language. Anytime à and le are next to each other, they magically squish together and become o. So if you want to say I go to the zoo, you say je vais au zoo. If you have a feminine place that you want to talk about going to, like the beach, and you want to say to the beach, you would say à la plage. And à and la is a perfectly okay combination in the French language. So all those feminine places that you had on your list, no problem using à la and just translating it word for word. Same if you have a place that starts with a vowel, L apostrophe, totally legal. If, however, you happen to have a place that is plural, remember that if you have the word to, followed by le, the plural word for the, they have to combine to make o. So just a quick little reminder, if you wanted to go through your notes and added an o and au before all of those masculine places and an la in front of all of those feminine places, it'd be a nice little reminder that when you talk about going to the masculine places, you have to use that masculine form of to, which is o, whereas when you go to the feminine places, you have to use that feminine form of la. Just be careful, a quick reminder, but nothing new.